The advice that I would give to a colleague would be to maintain character. So often these days, character is compromised for shortcuts and for an easier way, but if you stay true to that character that is instilled in you and is a part of you, then that will take you far.
My leadership advice is to believe in yourself, to learn from past experiences, and to trust in God. I believe that we get direction from Bible verse Philippians 4:8, which states, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, anything that is praiseworthy or excellent, think about such things. And I think we can all get some guidance from those words.
So those that have influenced me the most in business would have to first be my wife. I could not do my job without her. She is the one that enabled me and taught me how to get outside my comfort zone and to challenge me to relate to people in a way that is both impactful and meaningful in their lives. Second, those that would have impacted me most in business is my parents. They're the ones that really established the foundation of faith that I base all of my business decisions on. And they also taught me to be a critical and independent thinker. Third, the ones that would have influenced me most in business would be my grandparents, who taught me how to stay true to myself, true to my roots, and the value of each and every person that I come into contact with. Finally, the ones that would have influenced me in my business life would be the company I work for. They provided a number of mentors for me that both taught me the business and gave me opportunities to succeed in business. So overall, I've been very fortunate to be provided with a number of people that have worked together to help influence my business career.
The people that influenced me most in business would be my father, who was a Marine for 22 years, retired as a first sergeant. So I grew up with the qualities of loyalty, honesty, and integrity, which I think mean a lot to your employees and your customers in the way that you treat people. So that carries a lot of weight in business. Ron and Yvonne Batts, who built Batts Communications, have mentored me in all levels of what we do, sales to quoting to service base of what we do for our customers and how to treat our employees. Ron has helped me in so many ways on the labor side of things that we do, and Yvonne has taught me so much in sales and community relations and the things that I'm growing into more so as the future owner of Batts Communications.
The City of Abilene is honored to be a sponsor in this year's Abilene Reporter News 20 Under 40 program. There's nothing more important than recognizing the up-and-coming leaders in our community. Local government really ceases to function if good citizens don't step forward and volunteer of their time to be good leaders. And our 20 Under 40 program helps us recognize and identify those future leaders who will hopefully continue to build an excellent community.
The leadership advice that I would give a colleague would be never stop bettering yourself. Don't avoid situations that are uncomfortable. Instead, embrace them because that's when growth happens.
Well, some advice I would give a colleague in business would be to not be afraid to do things the hard way. And what I mean by that is to take the time and actually properly learn the process of something so you know how to do it correctly. If you always take the shortcuts or if you ask somebody else to do things for you, then you may not realize what really went into that and what it takes to get it done right. And so if you do it the hard way, you may know next time when you're repeating that process a shortcut, but you know what went into it. And I feel like that can apply all across the board to whatever you're learning, and whenever you can learn new things. It's always a good thing to gain knowledge in the process and how things go together.
Well, I think something I would share is that you may not always have the best idea in the room. And I think a good test of leadership is your ability to kind of step outside your own ego and listen to people around you. It's important to challenge your own assumptions about whatever the issue might be, whatever the problem is you're trying to solve, and use data as much as you can. Collect and track it, analyze it, and help that inform your decision. But it shouldn't be the only thing you use. Your team is a huge asset to you. And if you've given them, if you've set out the vision and the strategy for what your team is trying to accomplish, then their ideas will fall in line with what you're trying to get done. So it's really important to step outside yourself, listen to your team and trust them, because your team's success is your success.
Regarding leadership, I would tell others to make sure they're leading with a passion and to show people your passion through your work. As an example, I'm involved with ABILENE Hope Haven, and I love that organization. And we recently had the opportunity to hire a new executive director. The man we hired, John Cooper, is absolutely on fire for helping the homeless. That's why we hired him. He was homeless at one time himself. He takes homeless people into his home. He has some radical ideas that he's bringing to our organization. However, I believe he's a good leader because people are drawn to that passion, which is just indelible and just baking off of him. As a further example, my buddy, Mark Rogers, who's the new president at Big Brothers Big Sisters here in Abilene, he's another guy that just oozes passion, and people are drawn to that. And that's why I wasn't surprised when I heard how successful their most recent fundraising campaign was. People were lining up to go over the edge of the Enterprise building or rappel to the bottom for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And I think some of those people got involved because they saw Mark's passion or the passion of board members that were involved. So just like John and Mark, I think it's important to lead passionately, because when you're passionate, people will follow you, even if that means following you over the tallest building in town.
Our firm is proud to sponsor the 20 under 40. We have a great group of young professionals in town and also in our firm, and these young professionals will one day be the leaders of our firm.
There were a number of people who influenced me. I'd start with probably my father, who from a young age instilled in me that needed to say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And then from there, there were a number of people, professors in law school, who showed an interest in me and helped me out quite a bit. And then in practicing law, as a young lawyer, a number of lawyers that I practiced with early on, I had a mentor named Herschel Barnes who was very instrumental in my career starting out. And then going forward at some of the other law firms that I practice at, and then here in Abilene with the partners that I practice with here. And so it wasn't really one person, but really a combination of a number of people who really influenced me in my career.
So if I had to give one piece of advice to a colleague about leadership, I would use what I call the noun leadership philosophy: people, places, and things. In that order is what matters. People need to take care of themselves first, they need to take care of their friends, families, and neighbors next, and they need to take care of the mission or the job after that. On top of that, you have the place that they work. They need to have an environment that fosters growth, fosters achievement, and fosters excellence. They don't need to be worrying about stresses that make them not want to come to work. And finally, things. You need to train them, and you need to equip them with the training and the proper tools to go out there and execute effectively and efficiently. And so if you use the principles of noun leadership, people, places, and things, in that order, you will always be successful. I close with, once I was told cream rises to the top and so does dead bodies. Emulate the cream and learn from the dead bodies. Take care of your people, give them a good place to work, give them the right tools, and they're going to achieve. That's the advice I would give to someone or a colleague on leadership principles.
No question, the person who's influenced my career the most has been my father. He didn't choose business as a career, but instead became an excellent teacher, coach, and administrator. But it's his ability to inspire and motivate people, combined with the work ethic and high sense of integrity, that has influenced me the most. Former CEO of Walmart, Mike Duke, said at an ACU luncheon that performance is typically measured by its highest point, or even an average, but integrity is measured by your lowest point. My father lives with a high sense of integrity and continues to model that each and every day of his life.
So if I were to give advice to anybody or a colleague in just general terms of regards to leadership or things of that nature, I would probably pass on that the value of sitting at the feet of others in your field that you admire, people that have been there, have done that, and have qualities that you admire and want to learn from them. Don't have any hesitation about doing that. There's so much pressure in this day and age to know everything and be everything, especially in this world of technology. And there's something to be said for the wisdom of those that have been there for years and the willingness of them, especially in Abilene, to share.
Some leadership advice that I would give to a colleague would be that communication is key. No matter what line of work you're on, what you're doing, where you are, you have to communicate with people on a regular basis. The goal of communication is not just to be heard, but mutual understanding. I talk to my guys often and our team, and I try to listen just as much as I talk. Same thing with our customers. I have to listen to what they're saying, what their needs are, and make my recommendations line up with what they're wanting and be able to deliver a product or an offering. So communication in every aspect and a lot of listening on both sides.
Well, I'm a big fan of the 20 under 40 recognition. First of all, it's great that the Abilene Reporter News came together and said this is a great thing for us to honor new leaders that are up and coming within Abilene. And then secondly, it's a great recognition for each one of these 20 people that have been identified as up and coming leaders. You know, Abilene is really, really blessed to have lots of really great talent. So congratulations to the 20 that were selected, and then all the rest of us that are citizens of Abilene will get to benefit somehow in the future of all the great things that we're going to see come from these 20 under 40.
I've been blessed to have been impacted by multiple people in business throughout my career. First and foremost would have to be my parents, who instilled a really hard work ethic in me and drive, and have taught me to always persevere no matter how hard a challenge may be. Here in Abilene, who has influenced me the most would have to be Kim Bozier. She really took me under her wing, taught me how to plan events, how to sell sponsorships, how to better benefit our members, and how to better benefit the Abilene community.
So if I had to give advice to a colleague, especially from a physician perspective, I would really stress first and foremost that we have to be advocates for our patients, and providing quality, caring nature of what we do is what you have to do to be successful, especially when you start talking about the business side of medicine. And I think that leadership quality will spill out into your staff, and I think James talks about operating from a place of humility and letting your actions speak for you. And I think if you can do that by providing the utmost quality and care and compassion, and then you lead from a place of humility with your business staff, that's what you need to do to be successful.
I've been fortunate that I have surrounded with a bunch of people who positively influenced me in business. It's been pretty cool. The most obvious ones are my parents. So with my father, seeing his work ethic, waking up early, staying out till late at night, working hard. I realized from an early age I wasn't like the other kids. Same with my mom. She just works herself to the bone and is the nicest person in the world. And that's really something she really pressed on me, was just be nice to others and it'll take you a long ways. So I'm really fortunate that I've had that.
Well, several people have influenced me in business. First off, my parents have always supported me in my goals of doing whatever I wanted, and so they were with me every step along the way to becoming a surgeon. And I wouldn't be where I am today without the support of my family, including the support of my wonderful husband, Cameron, who stays at home with our 2 little girls and allows me to do the job I need to at the hospital. Also, I was very lucky during my residency to have several amazing mentors. Dr. DeReese, Dr. Kamek, and Dr. Haynes taught me the ins and outs of private practice, navigating billing and coding, and just running a business, and I'm eternally grateful for their help.
I think it's wonderful that we come together every year to honor this great group of young leaders in our community. They are innovative, they're energetic, they're visionary, And most of all, they care about our community, and most importantly, they are our future.
Well, I consider myself very lucky because I've had so many good role models throughout my life and currently where I work at the Wagstaff firm. But the person that's most influenced me at work would have to be my father. And even though we've never worked together in a formal full-time business setting, he always taught me to first establish myself as a person with core beliefs and values and to hold myself accountable so that everything I do in life, including at work, which takes up the majority of our day, will be influenced by those values and beliefs. So I always strive to do what I think is the right thing, and I value responsibility and try to make sure that my reputation is my personal brand, and I like to think that my work reflects those values and beliefs. I think that my father has had a very successful life and a successful career, and he's always embodied those beliefs, and so I'm very grateful to have had him as an example in my career and in my life.
Because I'm open to new ideas and learning opportunities, there are so many people who has influenced me throughout my career. When I see or hear something I admire, I want to incorporate its goodness into me. To my friends, family, and people who I met through business, or whoever cheers for me, you are my inspiration, and I want to say thank you. Especially my best friend and husband, Matt Thaxton. He believes that I can do great things. He's my #1 supporter, and I love him very much. Thank you again for this honor and for accepting me as an ABILENEan.
The leadership advice that I would give to colleagues is to get involved in the community. If you get involved in the community, whether it be a specific work type group, a professional organization, or just a broad civic type thing, maybe volunteering, maybe a festival, all of that will circle back to you, and you'll be more engaged at work, and you'll be asked to take leadership positions at work. In addition, you'll be asked to serve on boards and other types of opportunities. So I would just suggest to get involved in the community.
What is some leadership advice I would give to a colleague? One of the things that I feel is really important that I would tell my colleagues would be to do the things that you love to do. When you're working in your business, working with others, making sure that you are doing something that you love to do, you have a passion for, because that energy is a special energy that not only affects you, but affects the people around you. And it gives you the ability to be able to lead in a way that energizes the people around you as well. And it makes you enjoy life better. When you are doing something that you love, you put more time and energy into it. It has a meaning to it. And so my advice is love what you do.